This is also a concern that has been raised by India on multiple occasions. Pakistan-Canada nexus has only deepened in the last few years. This has also been exposed. All Khalistani leaders present in Canada, especially from the Khalistani Liberal Party and the NDP, are getting regular money from the ISI agents in Vancouver in the name of immigration. Immigration seems to be a subterfuge that these terror elements are using on Canadian soil. They're also taking money from students and using them for anti-India propaganda. Huge number of students have come to Canada and don't want to go back, and to keep them in Canada, they want to sustain their expenses, and perhaps these are the vulnerabilities which are being exploited right now. Anand, using the vulnerabilities of students and various other Indians who are present in Canada to run this terror nexus. Tell us more about this.
Well, a lot of them are moving to Canada on how are they coming in. One of the points they do is they come to study, then they turn around and seek asylum, and then they use the laws, Canadian laws, to subvert them. They make claims, and then these people are identified. Somehow or the other, they don't want to go back because a lot of them have taken huge amounts of loans to try, and mortgages, and they're mortgaged everything that they have to be able to come to Canadian soil in the hope of a better future, and now they can't come back to India, so somehow they got to stay back. And these people are then lured by these people, these Khalistani groups, these leaders, then moved into gang trade, drug trade, and slowly brainwashed, recruited, and said, you want to stay on, then go ahead and do this. Your day's wages, day's earnings, yahan pathar pe kya ho, yahan graffiti bana ke aao, yahan par go and vandalize this and come, go protest here, hold these banners, turn up here, put these posts, we'll give you. This is how it's being done. And these youngsters, these students and these youngsters are being brainwashed. They also don't know history. People who have migrated to Canada about 2-3 decades ago, they are not involved in all of this. It's the new lot. Like I said, those who are born in the 90s, especially after 1984 and thereafter, and in the 90s, they are the ones who are not aware of the actual history and what the story is. And for them, false narratives are being pushed. In fact, we are given to understand that even during the farmer protests in the national capital, that's in Delhi, there was a lot of push that came from, and Trudeau himself had jumped into the pot. And there was open proof which we have put out here in CNN News 18 how the ISI was fanning the flames on social media. More importantly, we've got credible evidence that a lot of people who actually tried to assault and vandalize the Red Fort and tried to even remove the national flag from the Red Fort, a lot of them were not even Indian citizens. They had also flown in from Canada, and their antecedents have been identified, and quite a few of them were also drug addicts.
Anand, when we talk about these kind of activities and the manner in which the Khalistani propaganda has got some kind of new lease of life, especially after the abrogation of special status in Jammu and Kashmir, many experts point out that there is a very small lobby, I may argue, or a very small group of individuals who are being used for furthering this kind of propaganda. Most of them don't have any real basis across the wide Indian community that lives on Canadian soil.
Absolutely. It doesn't have large support, but they have now got political capital. And this political capital is the crutch on which the Trudeau government currently stands. Those elements, imagine that a leader of a minuscule party who's extending support to the Trudeau administration has the temerity to put out the kind of posts that has been put out. The point is that they're using the law to subvert the law, but larger question is, will Canada have the same position for those elements which are acting against the interests of other nations? If Canada can take a position of respecting sovereignty vis-a-vis the Russia-Ukraine conflict, why is it that Justin Trudeau has a variant position with respect to respecting the sovereignty of Bharat? That's the larger question. And will Justin Trudeau come clean on card? Because we got a laundry list of inaction by the Trudeau administration and how they've openly backed secessionist elements on Canadian soil. Right. Secessionist elements that are advocating the balkanization of Bharat, active on Canadian soil. Can that be under the garb of freedom of speech? A question that was put by Sushant Sareen on CNN News 18 continues to linger, saying 22 years after 9/11, if there was a float that celebrated the bringing down of the Twin Towers in Surrey, in Bradford, in Quebec, or in Toronto, or in Vancouver, will Justin Trudeau allow it? If that will not be allowed, why was a float and an entire this allowed that talked about destruction of Bharat and breaking down and secession of Bharat? Why these two different variant positions, their positions? That's what Justin Trudeau has to answer. And now he'll have to come out with proof to back his credible allegations, quote, on the floor of the Canadian House.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't know when the Canadian Prime Minister is going to put that proof on the floor of the House and tell the opposition and the Canadian people about the substance behind the claims and damaging claims that he has made. But India has repeatedly put that evidence before Canada, the Canadian authorities, and also in the public domain. Thank you, Anand, for getting us all those details and breaking down that exclusive information here on CNN News 18. We continue to track the story here on CNN News 18. A lot happening on the floor of the House here at the Indian Parliament as well. That will remain our focus. Slipping into a very short break for now.